My name is Victor Ochen. I am the director for African Youth Initiative Network, which is called AYINET in short. It's a Ugandan organization that was founded 20 years ago in 2005 when we were living in the conflict of the LRA in northern Uganda. So today we are celebrating a long journey to where we are. I'm grateful that we are celebrating our 20th anniversary of AYINET, our 20 years in peace building, 20 years in mediation, 20 years in restoring dignity and hope for the survivors of injustices.
Am kenywalan komanko ini tipa aduil elare enago tiare nyikoma ma kimara ke gangwa inamokora kabed magiluone gili wachon imara aliwario kario yo kara madong kimaro an chiki woro kedalum Mala tin modor ani an la moy. Chio mio gian timarenye koman.
To begin with, meeting John changed my life. Ochola John, I met him in 2004, 2 years after he had been injured by the Lord Resistance Army. From when I met with him, I saw a brother who had gone through turmoils of conflict. I saw a human being who was ripped of dignity. He was deformed. He had unhealed, untreated wounds from the mutilation that was done by the rebels of the Lord Resistance Army.
I karaman dong bedo kekelo ani wariat. Da bedo wariat. Achaka no kony matino tino pibo dano machielo kaneno an yore yat. Kar madong anabino iberga mina tam keto mera kwa kede piena anda du dano magoro. Nino mo achil arwade kila dit magiluoni Ochen Victor. Ma eno no achiwa Yal in miro katuere kala ba yang yi ko na me na ko yi lebun mo ma ngi na ram ko nyene
I imagine the pain and horror and stress and trauma that John was going through. I was powerless. I asked myself, how much can one go through and still survive? I was heartbroken. I was tortured. But I saw John. I became so powerless. At the same time also, I felt humbled that even though people like John has been through too much, he's still moving on, moving forward, despite the despair, despite the destruction, despite the atrocities and injustice. I started looking at myself as, I have been through too much. I'm suffering, I'm in pain, I've lost even the family members. But people like John look up to me for support. And I accepted the responsibility that I will not let down any victim of war, that my action can change their life. And that was the reason, as I told John, that I want us to work together. I'll come back and we shall see what we can do together. I hope I'll contribute towards your healing and your regaining of your dignity.
Chu bedo bene an bene wiya wilo cha ne na chiel mo ka gona chinga John ti kwena awa ana tiga bin karwa de kedi in amer ne in bin ti bora cha ndawa ya e ba do cha ti che gino ma marang lo ma pat pe an bu bino cha joining teach ma eno yabo ma ni organization na ki luone AYINET ma ber ka teach ma be.
John told me that his wish was that his child should have seen him before the mutilation, but that dream never came true. His firstborn child came in after he had just gone through the atrocities. So all his children missed seeing how beautiful, how handsome he was. And I thought, maybe because of this he's angry. And he said, yes, I'm angry. I'm angry because something that John said to me that touched my heart was when he said that the devil who caught me after I was falsely accused that I was a soldier, when the rebels were mutilating me, they were torturing me, they were beating me, I begged them that now that you have cut off my ears, my lips, my nose, and you want to cut off my hands, would you be kind enough to leave me at least with one hand to help me? They didn't listen to that.
Kuana ni bera gonya ketano yang ana tikere ma don kede no adon ma be ma ana no ni at least nen tala de don gwa ma ki ko ma yot chi ko ma ana ti ye no be ma tere yang na ko ma be ento pa bera gonya e kara ma ki wano an a bera ga rem ki dong a bera ma e kom joma geno timare koma ni chunya po bero yom e kom gi no atueyo gine chunya waje ni an kayang no gina kitine tie no arambe chulu gine no ni piani obala ko ana kitano mira ana don kede chidong karama kitimare koma dano mi na tam keda karo ke training maduong magilua ken meji a chuin dano ken me timo kija we ga ber free chio mio atia gonya ku beri cha ne piene AYINET o mi ne wa training ma o we anatia gonya.
So that changed my life, and I said, yeah, there are many Johns in the communities. Let us help this John, and we can work together to help other people. When I asked him that, would you join us and work with AYINET as a counselor? And John was reserved a bit, and he told me, I'm not educated enough. How can I work with you, yet I'm not educated enough? And I told him, I really don't care your level of education. Because if it was about education, myself, I wouldn't be talking to you here. To me, it's not about the degree, it's not about your level of education, but it's about your heart. And for this particular case, John, your story, your testimony, your struggle, your pain, your suffering, your courage is an opportunity for us to heal ourselves in order to heal other people. So I said, come and work together. And then John said, okay, if that's so, I'll come and work with you. And he became the most commendable staff, one of the best staffs I had. Dedicated, committed, loyal, hardworking, and he would go far deep ends of the crisis in the society. Even his arrival alone in the community, talking to people who have been through too much, would humble other people. I always felt so humbled by John. To me, he's a brother that changed my life. Helping him became a springboard for me to help other people.
Kikin gang kain dano gen chwalo an mabe pagidag an yan keta gen te anano ke an kere ni dano mukena gi luor an gi ngeo ni an no chunya chol ento ana neno dano wen roma che gang kin gang kain ma ko ni atia gonya dano chwalo mabe atia ke jirani mabe je bene magino mo maraj pe gin gwa gang mabe bene kan kana pe an bene neno ma ka gin pe bene gwa gang gi me roma chi kwana ano ti mayor kin jirani magang ma me wakany keta bedo kede we ko mako ini bedo ma ke chwiny marach chomiyo ku bedo anti agonya gino mo ma ana paro peke bedo agonya ki bara ana no enu gino mo ker ngata chwinyo to romane ana rama chira amino tam ki bedo agonya.
I remember meeting Michael. AYINET was very poor. We didn't even have a car. We had a motorbike. And one day we set off from Lira office to go to Pader. We got to this school called Lira Paluo, and our motorbike broke. And then as we were trying to repair the motorbike, one of the children who were playing in the camp, also the school was in the camp, in the IDP camp, came and was asking, now that your motorbike is broken, where are you going to sleep? And then I asked them, said, do you know of any person who is somebody who is wounded as a result of war? And then they said, yes, we know a child called Michael. And they said, can we take you there? And then I said, yes. And then I reached home. I saw Michael's father sitting. And then he asked, who are you? I introduced myself. And I said, I want to see a child called Lotema Michael. And then he pointed, said, it's over there. A broken house. The house that was already unroofed. Actually, it was a toilet, a pit latrine. So he was dumped in there. I went on the phone, a little baby, lying in the green leaves, and flies were all over. I said, this is a human being. He looked at me, frail, starved, sick, and dirty. I carried him. I walked with him towards the father. And the father asked me, where are you going with him? I said, I want to take him to the hospital. And then he said, I'm not going to the hospital. And I said, I'm going to take him to the hospital. I said, if you're taking him on your own. I said, I've done everything as a father to help this child, but nothing has happened. I've not been able to help him. I'm tired. When he was tortured, he was the only survivor of an attack that killed 24 other people, including his own mother.
An kilwanyano ta Michael school kan ma kwana yani kilwani Lira Paluo senior secondary school jiba atie machalo sha passion para gwara school kan ana ya maro lok pole piane dan machalo ane tuata ken mukane an bana no mogo arwar kegi mogo beno gitika chimutoke so kado ngana no winyo ng'at mo tika loko ng'at mo ni achara temo kawacho ne yani eno gen manondo bando yo karma shon no kuona pe marach no kuona ti marach yani no arembe no tie mano an kikoni kerewa joma gangwa no pibinyo mabe kido ikarani anda no ati mabe piando atika kwan ana beri ken dano na bwa yela.
Michael stayed in my house for some days. We were cleaning him up, washing his wounds, making sure everything are clean and all those things. Then a week after we went to the bus to Kampala. We got to Kampala, the money was over. The money was over. And then the first thing they told me that this child's leg should be amputated because he was shot, he was wounded, he had septic discharge from his thighs from 4 different spots. And I told the doctor, said, no, we cannot amputate, we can do something. They said, we are the doctors, why are you advising us on what to do? So they wanted to amputate the little boy's leg, and I refused. Hanging around Kampala, I ran out of money. Even money for my transport back. I sold my phone, my mobile phone. I used that mobile phone money to transport me and Michael back to Lira. I came back to Lira. Michael stayed in my house again. Even when I was here, he was sick, rejected, but my family welcomed him. And then I talked to a doctor here in Lira. And the doctor said, yeah, I can work on this child, but it's going to cost you a lot of money. I don't know if you have that money. I said, doctor, please do. I think he spent 3 months in the hospital. The bill was just unbearable. I was running around looking for money to pay for other patients, but Michael was also my top priority. So let's save this child's life. And then in 2010, early 2010, he recovered. He would come and play football. And I called the father to come and check. From that moment, I found Michael. He has been my child. I made sure we treated him to heal, to regain his dignity, to become functional in the society. I always told him that, Michael, one day you'll be a leader in this country. You'll heal, and you'll help other people to heal. So when he started gaining interest in education, I started paying him in school as a little boy. Today, Michael is in secondary, almost completing his secondary education.
An macam lagaro, dong atia gonya, me kuo ke dano, igang kwan kany, gua ki gang kuya. Podong ke da yo mabe, ke dong kuo kere yo mabe, leboy ket sim tok mo. Ancha lagaro, ke gang, tij mo ko tie, ma pedong ke mia bana timo, mo ko tie bana, aforo bana gere. Leboy kera yera mo. Ana tuana dong tie, an gen madan dong timo, an beda timo. Abieno kanano dilo mano dano duongi. Kamu kan kera tie beno kichung to keranyere waro kere. Mano gera no be ochuaro chunyar no yan pedang tidiar mo amiartin. Bera gonya pero ma pero mano etikituaro metimo gimo ke ken. La boy dit mo.
Just like Michael and John, their stories are similar. They're very innocent people who have gone through severe atrocities of conflict. There are many children like them in the world today. But Michael is now a focal point person for the people with disability in a society. Just as John too. John is also the focal point person in the local council leadership. Is a leader leading and working for the right of people who are disabled. So we talk about freedom. Both Michael and John expressed that to them, freedom would mean your right is rediscovered. You're free from pain. You're free from suffering. And you're also free from the threats but you have your rights. You are able to do certain things to help other people. That to them is what freedom means. I think this is where the story of Michael and John should be eye-openers, not only to those in the world of freedom fighters, but in the world of authorities. You make decisions that hurts the innocent people, and we wonder why there is always the generational transfer of trauma. I think John may not ask that question today, but his children will ask that question in future. Why did you suffer the way you are? And why is that other people did not care? To me, freedom would mean being able to stand up for what is right, regardless of the outcome. And that's the decision I made from day one, that I will stand up to protect, to advocate, and care for people who suffered in the hand of those who did not care. That has been my motivation. That has been the work we have done with AYINET. And for the last 20 years, we have provided medical and psychosocial rehabilitation, healing to people like John and Michael. At least 25,000 of them have gone through our hands. They have regained their dignity, they are back in school, and they are all able to contribute to the larger societal development. That is our undertaking as AYINET, and that to me, that's what freedom means. When we can stand firm, be free from pain, be free from fear, but stand up for what is good, not only for me, but for other people as well.